Okay, so the movie starts and they show what's either a pool of liquidy shit or a pool of chocolate. It's pretty unclear which one it is, but I'm pretty sure based on the themes of the movie, it's shit. So then we cut to some candy store and this guy in England is like, hey kids, buy all my candy. Oh, except for you, Charlie, because you're poor. This is for kids with money. And then pretty much the next 20 minutes of the movie are just instilling the fact that Charlie is poor, like dirt poor. He pretty much lives in a shack with his 4 grandparents and his single mom. So then they cut to Charlie walking by a TV out somewhere because he doesn't own a TV because don't forget he's poor. So on the TV, you pretty much get all the backstory you need to know. Willy Wonka is some crazy recluse chocolate maker. He decided he wanted to open up the factory for a tour for 5 children and 4 of the tickets have been found. And they do like a highlight on each of them and they all give like a one-liner. And since they're all 2-dimensional characters, it pretty much sums all of them up. So one girl is like, I'm a snooty American girl and I chew gum. And then this other kid's like, oh, I'm an American boy and I love TV and guns. Bang, bang. And then this like really chubby German kid's like, I love to eat. And then this snooty British girl's like, I'm a snooty British girl. So there, you pretty much don't need to know anything about the children for the rest of the movie because they're all pretty much going to die because of whatever their thing is in some way or another. So Charlie finds $1 in a sewer drain and he's like, oh, awesome, $1. I should probably save this money because I'm so poor. But you know what? I'm a child, so I'm just going to go buy some chocolate. And he opens his chocolate bar up and he has the golden ticket. So he goes running home so he can tell his grandparents and his mom, and some creepy guy stops him and he's like, hey, I know that Willy Wonka probably has like 50 cool inventions, but for some reason we're only interested in everlasting gobstoppers because we're Willy Wonka's competitor. So if you can get me an everlasting gobstopper, I'll give you a bunch of money or whatever you want. And Charlie's like, oh, I don't know, I gotta keep going. So Charlie gets home. So here's the thing, right? For the first 20 minutes of the movie, they've instilling how dirt poor and bedridden and dystrophied all his grandparents are. Grandpa Joe looks at Charlie and he sees that golden ticket and he's like, you got the golden ticket? Hey, I can go with you. And he jumps up. He like literally jumps out of bed and starts dancing around. And he like makes up some bullshit excuse. He's like, I'm just so happy. It just like cured me. I can like walk again. And Charlie's mom is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not how this works. Like, even if you don't have polio or some other debilitating disease, you've been laying in that bed for at least 10 solid years. You must have intense muscular dystrophy and be covered in bed sores. There's literally no way you should be able to jump out of bed unless you've been bullshitting and lying this whole goddamn time. And Uncle Joe's just like, no, it's a miracle. I couldn't walk. I had polio or some shit and I'm better because I saw a golden ticket. But hey, Charlie needs a chaperone, right? Like, you have to take care of these people. I should probably just go with them, right? Hey, Charlie, let's go to that chocolate factory now. And Charlie's like, yeah, okay. So either way, we cut to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Charlie and the other 4 kids are at the front gate. And then Willy Wonka comes out all like hobbling around in his cane. Then he drops his cane and he does like 16 backflips. And like everyone's like, yeah, we get it. You're not actually old. It was a joke. And then he kind of pops up. He's like, hey, I'm not old and decrepit. I'm awesome and young. So, the crowd claps and kind of humors him because they don't care. Everyone really just wants to know how his factory is making chocolate. Because like 5 years ago, he fired every one of his employees and has somehow magically still continued to make chocolate. Like, does he have slave labor? Did he invent robots? Nobody knows. And they want to find out. And these kids want chocolate. So then they go into this huge room and everything is made of candy. Like, the trees are made of chocolate. The water is actually chocolate milk. And like all 5 kids and their parents are just running around eating all sorts of shit. Like, they're like, oh, let's eat this park bench. Let's eat this bird. Let's eat that hat. Let's eat that dead body. So everyone's eating everything around. And then someone notices these tiny orange people with green hair across the river. And everyone starts freaking out. Oh my God, what the hell are those? What are those things? And Willy Wonka's like, oh, those are slaves. Oompa-Loompas. And everyone's like, what's an Oompa-Loompa? And he's like, they're my slaves. They're small, magical people that aren't my slaves. And then the chubby German kid is gulping chocolate milk down like crazy. And he's probably diabetic or something, and he just really wants chocolate because he never gets it. But either way, he falls into the river and immediately gets sucked up a pipe. And everyone starts freaking out. They're like, oh my God, this kid is gonna die. And Willy Wonka's like, don't worry about it. He's just gonna go up the pipe and he'll probably drown. So yeah, the German kid drowns or whatever. No one really cares. And his mom leaves. So they go in the next room and Willy Wonka's like, hey everyone, want one of these everlasting gobstoppers? And at this point, Charlie's like, oh, that's the thing that guy wanted. So he pockets it for later so that we can have something to further the plot at the end. And then the American girl who loves chewing gum obviously finds a pile of gum. And Willy Wonka's like, oh yeah, that's like full meal gum. Like, if you eat it, it's a full meal. And she's like, I don't care. I love gum. I'm going to put it behind my ear. I'm going to chew on it later. I'm going to chew on 6 more pieces. I'm just going to eat all the gum. And then Willy Wonka's like, oh no, don't eat the blueberry pie. And everyone's like, wait, why? What's wrong with the blueberry pie? And he's like, oh, instead of just tasting like blueberry pie, it expands exponentially to the point where you explode. And then that little girl like blows up like a beach ball. So either way, Willy Wonka's like, hey, roll that little girl out of here. She's gonna explode and I don't want her blood and guts all over my fancy expensive equipment. So the American girl who chews gum is gone. Her mom leaves to mourn her inevitable death. And then they walk by this room and Willy Wonka's like, oh hey, here's some soda that makes you fly. It's pretty cool, huh? Well, let's go to the other room. And this is where Grandpa Joe shows his true colors as a complete dick. They all keep going and Grandpa Joe's like, hey Charlie, let's drink some of this soda. And Charlie's like, Grandpa Joe, I think that's a bad idea. And Grandpa Joe's like, yeah, I mean, if you want to be a loser, don't drink it. I'm gonna drink some though. So Grandpa Joe easily gets him to drink some soda. And they start flying around and they almost get killed by a fan at the top of the ceiling. Then they burp or whatever and they get back down. Willy Wonka walks in and he's like, were you guys drinking some of that soda? And they're like, no, we wouldn't do that. Of course not. And he's like, yeah, but it's open. The cap is on the floor and half of the bottle is missing. And Grandpa Joe's like, I don't know, it wasn't us. Willy Wonka's all suspicious at this point, but for some reason he doesn't kick them out like he has been with everyone else. So then they get to the next room and Willy Wonka's like, hey, this is a room filled with geese. They shit out some gold or like chocolate or something. I don't really care. I just built this room so that that little British girl could die. And the little British girl's like, hey, daddy, can I have one of those geese? And the dad's like, why do you want a stupid goose? Why don't you get a pony or something? And she like pulls a gun out and she's like, I swear to God, if you don't give me one of these goddamn geese, I'm gonna shoot every one of you. But then she like trips on something and falls down a tube. And Willy Wonka's like, oh, that's the furnace. She's about to die. And the dad's like, oh no, I gotta save her. And he jumps down too. So they're both incinerated. They're dead. Burned alive. Nothing left but ashes. And nobody really cares. Like Willy Wonka's like, all right, whatever, let's go to the next room. Like just no one gives a shit that all these people keep dying. So they go to the next room and there's this giant TV. And of course the kid who loves TV is like, hey, I want to go in that thing. I want to be transported onto TV. Digitize me and put me on that TV. So Willy Wonka's like, yeah, you got it, buddy. Get ready. So this kid gets digitized into a TV and it makes him like 3 inches tall. So this kid's not dead. But Willy Wonka's like, yeah, whatever. You're disqualified too, I guess. So get out of here, kid. Just to cover all my bases, I'll have someone like shoot you and your mom on the way out. Whatever. Come on, Charlie, let's keep going. So then they get to the last room and it's just like Willy Wonka's office. And Willy Wonka looks at Charlie. He's like, you're disqualified too because your shitty grandpa told you to drink some soda earlier. And Charlie's like, oh, really? I thought I won. And Grandpa Joe's like, Charlie, you know what you should do? You should give that gobstopper to that guy from that other company. Screw Willy Wonka. And like, to be fair, that's probably not bad advice at this point because they've witnessed a lot of murders today. And if I were Charlie, I don't think I would want to be around a murderer like that. And then Charlie's like, I'll just give the gobstopper back to Mr. Wonka. Here you go, Willy Wonka. Here's your everlasting gobstopper back. And Willy Wonka turns around and he's like, hey, that's it. You passed. You win. You're the guy. And Charlie's like, what do you mean I won? And Willy Wonka's like, it was a test. Like, there's no guy from another company. He was one of my employees. And then Charlie's like, oh, awesome. If I'm the last person here, I win like a lifetime supply of chocolate, right? And Willy Wonka's like, now, here's the thing. I know I said that that was what you would win, but it's a little bit different. You know how you have crippling anxiety over having to make money for your family with your paper out? Well, guess what? You don't have to do any of that anymore. Now, I'm replacing your crippling anxiety over making money for your family with crippling anxiety over running a global corporation. That's right. I'm retiring. You're going to have to run this company. I'm not going to help out. I don't want to do this anymore. You just have to deal with a board of directors, stock market, slave labor laws, marketing, advertising, everything that has to do with the company. Doesn't that sound great, Charlie? Charlie? Roll credits.